It is remarkable that during the Wild West saloon riot that has broken out in place of the Democratic primary season, the presumptive Republican nominee could stumble at home and abroad, literally and figuratively. In our third story, Senator John McCain, also the ranking Republican on the Commerce Committee, speaking today on the nation's mounting economic crisis. And he had no suggestions as to what to do now. Instead, he said he will consider other people's ideas, calling for financial professionals to meet and presumably sort things out. McCain did say he wants to make more down payments more expensive for American home buyers, and in a stunning turn called for reform to provide transparency and accountability, and then actually said the way to prevent this kind of thing in the future is to remove what he calls regulatory impediments on financial institutions. This perhaps no surprise from the man who said in January 2000, quote, "I didn't pay nearly the attention to economic issues in the past. I was probably a supply-sider based on the fact that I really didn't jump into the issue." And then said on November 2005, "I know a lot less about economics than I do about military and foreign policy issues. I still need to be educated." And then said in December 2007, "Economics is something that I've never really understood as well as I should. I've never been involved in the financial stuff, the financial workings of the country." Perhaps explaining the senator's apparent trouble explaining a basic economic fact today.
Already, tight household budgets are getting tighter.
Why do they call them that? The senator's mastery of foreign policy also in question now, after his claim Monday that, quote, "we are succeeding in Iraq." The same day, Muqtada al-Sadr's forces shut down sections of Baghdad. The same day, Mr. Bush's generals advised delaying future returns of troops until after July. Returns Mr. Bush himself had said would indicate success in Iraq. And just 3 days after leaders of the 80,000-strong Sunni militia there threatened to stop helping the U.S. With us now, MSNBC political analyst Rachel Maddow, also host of her own programs weeknights on Air America Radio. Rachel, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
McCain's major economic speech today. I'm paraphrasing. "I have no ideas at the moment. Please leave a message after the beep."
John McCain has brought a football and shoulder pads to a baseball game, and he knows it. He has repeatedly proclaimed his own ignorance on the subject of economics, and he's a major party's nominee for president in an election that will turn for many Americans, for most Americans, on the fact that we're in the worst economic crisis we've been in probably since World War II. This is actually kind of an interesting political science study in what a candidate does when they have to campaign on an issue that they know they don't get. What we learned in the speech today is that a candidate in that situation essentially says nothing. There was no new proposals, no concrete plans, no commitments to existing plans. This speech, he essentially proved that he can pronounce the word liquidity, and that was it.
But why would you, as a political science study, why would you keep saying apparently every 2 years or so on a regular basis, "I don't understand economics. I need to be educated on this"? Why would you emphasize this point, then of course deny you'd ever said anything like this, and then make a speech about economics? Why not? It's a crazy idea. I know I'm calling for, I'm against the politician here who admitted he doesn't know something, which normally I would applaud,
right.
But why not? I don't know. Maybe you could ask somebody? Is there somebody in the Republican Party who understands the economy? I mean, is that the problem? Is it a macro issue rather than a micro issue?
He could say that he's working on it, that he's taking night courses.
Yes.
He has enough time to travel abroad and stuff like that. When you and Jonathan Alter talked about this the other night, I thought you guys kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of talking about the "I'm a dummy" strategy. Because it does lower expectations. It does soften the blow of anybody who wants to punch you on this issue. And it does make you seem sort of cute and self-deprecating. But don't forget that John McCain also in the Florida debate back in January denied that he'd ever said he didn't know anything about economics. So he's trying to play it both ways.
And I guess Joe Lieberman was not there to whisper in his ear. I know we're using dollars now, not pounds. On the subject of Lieberman's favorite topic, Iraq, McCain seems to be in a bind here. If things get worse, his expertise, of course, then becomes suspect, because he has been saying it's been getting better. And if things get better, there's actually less rationale for a president to invest longer in Iraq, and the due date for getting everybody out would seemingly go faster. How do you get out of that conundrum?
I think that McCain will make the case that if things get better, we have to stay. And if things get worse, we have to stay.
Right.
He's already kind of done this. He has said, for example, that we can't reduce troop numbers in Iraq if we're still incurring casualties. He's also said that if we're not incurring casualties, we can stay forever. So casualties or no casualties, we're there forever. I think we read too much logic into this idea about what might be working or not working in Iraq and how that affects our politicians. I mean, McCain was an original true believer in invading Iraq, which never had a strategic point that they have leveled to the American public about. We didn't go into Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction or links to 9/11, and we're not staying in Iraq because having U.S. troops in the streets of Iraq is somehow making political reconciliation more attainable there. The point is, whatever the eventuality is, he will spin it. It will say to him that we need more troops for more time. More troops for more time. It's been the Cheney, Bush, McCain mantra since the very beginning.
Lastly, Nancy Reagan has, as expected, endorsed McCain today. Is this pro forma? Is it meaningful? Too late to matter? Has Senator Clinton appealed and asked for a recount?
I was holding out hope she was an Obama girl, but I guess not. No, I mean, I think this is pro forma. I think this is it's very nice of her, and it helps Obama make the past versus the future case that he's been making.
Rachel Maddow of Air America and MSNBC, thank you.
Thank you.